Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to solve the famous Strivers DSA sheet. So we already completed SQL 50 from LitCode in our channel. If you have not checked it out, you can check it. Today we are going to start with Python and start with basics, and then we will slowly and gradually move to advanced level Python as well. So for any of the data science or data analyst or data engineering interview rounds, the first one or two rounds would essentially be based on coding, either SQL or Python. So knowing both is essential and extremely crucial these days. So since we already have done SQL, today let's start with Python. All right. So I will provide the link of this particular website so you can go and practice from it. So let me start from the very first question today. User input and output. Okay, so practice it. I'm not going to practice in C++. I'll be practicing in Python. So I can do a start timer option as well. Great. So I know how much time am I taking to complete this problem. Okay. So design a search query autocomplete system for a search engine. The users will input a sentence which may have multiple words and end with special character. Okay, so design a search query autocomplete system for a search engine. Okay, I think what it means is when we, let's say, these days write a particular search query, the how to, and then automatically it'll complete how to cook something, or something similar. One famous example that I remember is if you use to type why this, then it'll automatically complete Golavari D, referring to that famous song. But anyway, coming back, the users will input a sentence which may have multiple words and ends with a special character, can be a hash. For each character they type except hash, you need to return the top three previously entered most frequently queried sentence that have the prefix the same as the part of the sentence already typed. Okay, one small clarification. I think this particular problem is definitely not an easy problem. This is a hard problem, and probably by mistake. This is categorized into different bucket than where it should have been. So I have actually went ahead and mailed the Take You Forward team to make sure that this problem is categorized into proper bucket. All right, so let's move ahead with the first question, that is data types. Okay. So Geek is learning a new programming language. As a data type forms the most fundamental part of the language, Geek is learning them with focus. Okay. So character, if the input is character, output is 1. Integer, then it's 4. Complete the function data type size, excuse me. Complete the function data type size, which takes a string as input and returns the size of the data type represented by the given string in byte unit. Return -1 if the input data type is invalid. Okay, great. Then what's the okay, character, integer, long, float, and double. Okay. I think this is a simple if-else query. Sorry. If str equals to, let's say, character, then then return 1. Elif your str equals to integer, then it's 4. Then we have long. I think long is double. Long is 8 bytes. I think so. Let's try. Elif, sorry. Indentation is must in Python, so don't miss that. So this is if-else condition problem. It's long and then float. Okay. Float is 8 or 4, I think. Let's see. Double should be 8. There will be an else condition at the end, return -1. Float is 8 or okay, let's try 8. Compile and run. Okay. Oh, custom input I could have tried. 3 out of 5. Float 8 and 4. Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. Submit. Request queued. Ready for evaluation. 5 out of 5 test cases pass. All right. Let's move on to the next question. If else statement. Okay. So here, given two integers n and m, the task is to check the relation between n and m, return lesser if n less than m, equal if this and this. Okay, I think this is fairly easy. If n less than m, then return the lower integer, is it? Uh, Return lesser. Okay, if n equals to m, return equal, else return bigger, greater. Or yeah, this should be it. Constraints the limit of m and n. Got it? Okay. Let's compile and check. Okay. Okay. All right. Test case is passed. Let's move on to the next question. Switch statement. Okay, yeah. Given an integer choice denoting the choice of the user in a list containing the single value of R and two values of L and B depending on the choice. I didn't understand. Given an integer choice denoting the choice of the user and a list containing the single value R and two values L and B depending on the choice. If the user's choice is 1 and calculate the area of the circle having the given radius R. Okay, so R will be given and L and B will be given. Okay, so choice is 1, R equals to 5. If the choice is 2, then calculate the area of the rectangle given that length L and B. Got it. Got it. Okay. So R and L and B all will be given, and then based on choice, this is what you'll have to provide. Okay. All right. So let's just import math then, and then I'll write. I am not going to write case and switch statements here. I think only if will work fine, should work fine at least. If it's 1, then return um, math.py r0. So basically, it's written that the list R or array basically will contain one value depending if it's radius or two values if it's length and breadth, right? So since it's choice 1, that means there will be only one value. So I'm just taking r0 twice, right? So this is basically pi r square, area of circle. Else you should be returning r0 multiplied by r1. Okay, let's submit and check. Wrong answer 2 out of 10. Your for input 1:3. Correct output is okay. Sorry, my bad. This will be r square. Got it. Okay, all good. Let's move on to the next question. Switch statement is done. And then arrays and strings does not have any problem. That's okay. We'll just add a tick and move on. For loops. Okay, let's go to for loops. JavaScript is not needed. I'll do Python, right? This is coding ninjas. Okay. So the nth term of Fibonacci series, where Fn is a function, which is the summation of the earlier two functions, earlier two characters basically, or elements of the array. Sorry, earlier two elements, and its sum is represented by that particular current element. So Fibonacci series is nothing but 1, and then the summation of the earlier two numbers is 1 only because there is only one number here. Then this particular element is the combination of first two numbers or the earlier two numbers, that's 1 plus 1, 2. Similarly, 3 is 2 plus 1, 5 is 3 plus 2, 8 is 5 plus 3, and so on and so forth. This is the Fibonacci series essentially, which is every element of of the array is the summation of the earlier two elements. That's it. So what do we need? We need the sample input. If it's 6, we need to give the sample output. Okay. And that's it. Okay. Read input. Okay, so input can be input a number, right? And then I can define a function, or I can just do it right now. Or I think defining a function is fine. If it's n, then do I do a recursion here? So if n equals to 1, then return 1. And if n equals to 2, return 1. Else, return fib of n minus 1 plus n minus 2. Is this correct? So basically, sorry, fib of n minus 2. So this is a function. Now I'd be calling fib of, or yep, that's it. So this is what I call. So what I've done here is if n equals to 1, then it will return 1, right? For first element, it will always be 1. Second element will also be 1. Now, in case n is 3, then fib of n minus 1 is fib of 2. N equals to 2 equals to 1, so return in 1. So this particular query, this particular part of the query will return 1, whereas this particular part of your program will return 1 as well. So 1 plus 1, 2. Similarly, if you, let's say, pass the element 5, then n minus 1 would be 4, again it will come here. N minus 1 would be 3, again it will come here. N minus 1 would be 2, again it will come here, and it will be 1. So that was recursion. Now what I've done is I am reading input. Okay, so for some reason the screen capture stopped in the middle, due to which I couldn't show you the full programming, but let me just zoom in and you can take a look that what I've done is first I have declared n and taken an input in form of integer, and the function is the same that we have, and then I'm printing the function which is calling the number n. And that's it. That's what it is. I have submitted the code and it has been accepted, right? Okay, so basically we are done with the for loops. And then for while loop, there is not a particular function. Oh, sorry, there is not a particular problem which can be solved using Python, but I think the problem that is given here is very simple. We are supposed to write n stable in reverse order. So if n is 1, then I'll have to write from 10 to 1. Similarly, if it is 2, then we have to right from 20 to true. I think this is fairly easy. We'll be able to do it. Let's say we'll just take a while loop and we will take the particular number which is the input from this function, and then we'll just say that until and unless your n is greater than 0, then we'll just keep on reversing and multiplying it with 10 through 1 and then printing it in the reverse order, or in the same order, because we'll start from 10 through 1. So that's it. That's what we will do. And while loop works pretty much the same way as for loop. Only thing is there is not an option for us to add or decrease the default addition rate in the heading of the while loop. We have to do it separately at the end, and also based on how much you have to traverse through an array. Usually for for loop we have to traverse the whole array. For while loop we do not have to do that all the time. So based on that, the time complexity also differs. But that's it. That's what it is. Now while loop is also done. Then for function passed by reference and value, this is also a question that I just solved. Again, just to walk you through. So Geek wishes to add 1 and 2 respectively to the parameters passed. So the first parameter would be added by 1 and the second parameter would be added by 2, and that was it. And we'll have to return a comma b, and this was the coding. This was the problem basically. So we solved it, and that's it. So the first part of the whole problem, things to know, is done. Only I have not given a tick against user input / output, because as I mentioned, I think this is a hard problem, not an easy one. So let's see what happens. Coming to the second lecture, which is patterns. For patterns, we do not have any practice problems, so I'm just taking it and moving ahead. So let's say if you are someone who wants to read about the article, you can do so. You can click on this, read about the article or read the article, or you can go here in the YouTube link as well to understand what is exactly pattern printing. I would have loved to show you guys what pattern printing is, but unfortunately we do not have a question here, so I'll probably show you some other time. Now coming to, this is STL and Java collections. This is something I don't think we have for Python, so I'm not going to solve this. So moving on to basic maths now. So basic maths wise, this is count digits. Let's go there and check it. Okay, so basic maths, let's move to Python 3. It is already there. Now, given a positive integer n, count the number of digits in n that divide n evenly without leaving a remainder. Return the total number of such digits. A positive integer n is there. Count the number of digits in n that divide n evenly. Okay, so basically if it's 1, 2, 3, then 3 and 1 are the numbers who divide 1, 2, 3 evenly. I think that's what they're trying to say. So 1, 2 and output is 2. Got it. 2, 4, 4, 6 and output is 1. Okay, fine. So the way I'm thinking about it is, let's take count to be 0. It'll always be 0. Like at the starting, it'll always be 0. So if your input is 2 and 3 and the whole number is not divided by either of the digits, then it will return the count basically. So that's how it will be. Now I'm thinking, let's run a loop while so n so the way I'm thinking about this is, we'll take n and n mod 10, so that's the remainder. Remainder is essentially the last digit. So let's say for 2, 4, 4, 6, 6 is the one that we'll get here. So while n by 10 not equals to 0. Not equals to 0, right? So that's what it is. So n by 10 is not equals to 0. So n equals to n by 10, let's say. Right? And then, so basically right now n is 244. And then you have, sorry. N by 10 would be 244, let's say. And the remainder, let's say rem would be n mod 10, right? And that particular, let's find out if n is divided by, okay, first We'll do this later on. This will be at the end. But if n is divisible by, let's say n is divided by rem equals to 0, then count plus equals to 1, right? So that's what it is. Anytime this is divisible by remainder, then it is plus 1. Otherwise, just, break. Nothing. Else, continue. Actually, we do not even need to provide continue, because if it continues, then it will directly go back here and this line won't be executed. So let's just not provide this. We are fine. And then finally, we'll be printing or return count. That's what it is. Okay, all right. So I think this will be remainder. If I divide it by remainder and it is 0, then only count will be plus equals to 1. So let's compile and run. Returning count. Your output is 3, expected is 2. Okay. 12. So number is 12. N mod 10. So 12 by 10 is 2. Mod 10 is 2. And not equals to 0. And n also is not equals to 0. N is 12, not equals to 0. Remainder is 12 mod 10. 12 mod 10 against is 2. So let's divide the number which is 12 by 2 equals to 0. Count equals to plus equals to 1. Count plus equals to 1. Now n equals to n by 10. N by 10, n is 12 again. 12 by 10 would be 1. What if I give a floor division here? Usually for math problems, these are the issues like, yeah, correct. Wrong answer. Okay, so for input 20, my code's output is 0, where the correct output is 1. Yes, correct. For 20, it will be, oh, okay, whenever you're dividing by 0, right? So 0 anytime, let's say remainder, so n mod 10 not equals to 0. N mod 10 is 0. No. Yeah, mod 10 is 0. And n not equals to 0. This is 0 or, let's give or n not equals to 0. When both of these are 0, that's when this will be 0 and this won't be passed. So let's submit and check. Okay. Output has a problem, 0 division error, right? So remainder is 0. Fine. So then something that we cannot do, if number by remainder equals to 0 and the remainder is greater than 0. That's when we will do this, right? Otherwise we'll just skip. Again, same thing. Oh, okay. So we can do something. We can do a double if rem greater than 0, if number, then only count is plus equals to 1. Otherwise, it's just passed. If rem is not 0, I mean less than 0 or equals to 0, then this is not passed. So this is correct. All the test cases passed, and this is a quick solution. Okay. Now coming to no, this is not the one. Basic maths. Yes. So count digits is done. Let's go into reversing a number. Okay, so we have to reverse this number, right? So input is, if it is 1, 2, 3, then output is 3, 2, 1. If it is minus 1, 2, 3, then minus 3, 2, 1. Okay, we can just do a multiplication by minus 1 at the end if the number is negative, I think. So for now, let's reverse the digit. So x is int, basically. Now I'll have to check. So let's do while, I think pretty similar to the last problem that we did. So anytime we're going to just do a, x by 10, then 1, 2, 3 becomes 12 basically, and not equals to 0, not equals to 0, and x is, if it is 0, then also this is needed, right? So x is greater than 10 basically, x is greater than 0 basically. That's what the condition is. While x is greater than 0, that's when the loop will run. That's till when the loop will run. And then after that, I will take, let's say, y. Y equals to x mod 10. The final number would be, so number equals to number. So I'll have to do a number equals to 0 first. Or just, yeah, within the function will do. Number equals to 0. And then number equals to number multiplied by 10 plus y, right? And then finally, x is equals to x by 10. So that will be 12, right? That's it. We don't need, actually, we just need this. We don't even need y or something like that. We do not need to declare anything. X equals to x float 10, and if x is less than 0, then number equals to number multiplied by -1, right? That's it. And then we'll just return number, right? So let's run this. Unknown network error. That's new. Okay, case 1 and case 3 passed, but case 2 hasn't passed. Okay, so if it's -1, 2, 3. No. X greater than 0. No, this is not even a question. By x is not equals to 0, I guess. And also, if it is 0, is there a condition that it can be 0? Yes, it can be. Then we can just return that. That's fine. While x is existing, when will the loop end? X equals to x by 10, and x is, so I can take absolute of x. I think I've just changed this to z, and let's say x would be absolute of z. Let's see. So that's what it is, and at the end we will just multiply it again by 1. Yep, accepted. Let's submit this and check. Wrong answer. Okay, 1036 test cases passed, majority passed, but then we do not have this. So 15 this, expected output is 0. Fine. Go to description. Minus 2 to the power 31, 2 to the power 31 minus 1. So what's the problem? Expected is 0. Why is this expected to be 0? Constraints is this. Signed or unsigned? Unsigned. Assume environment does not allow you to store 64-bit integers. So you just have this. Put x equals to 120. Output equals to 2, 1. Not 0. Reverse a integer should be 0, 2, 1 and 2, 1. Okay. And this answer would be something like 9646324351. Yeah, so expected is 0. Right? Okay, if the value go outside the sin32 integer value range, which is 2 to the minus 31 to the 31 minus 1, then return 0. Okay, while x greater than 0 is fine. First, let's find out if. So while x not equals to 0, okay, so absolute of z and z greater than, right? Less than equals to 231 minus 1. 2 to the power 31. 2 31 minus 1. And this is also 0 and x greater than 2 to the power 31 into minus 1, right? That's it. Now we can put it inside a bracket and that's it. Let's run and check if this makes sense. Accepted. Let's submit and check. Wrong answer. Again, same thing. Okay, so let's debug this. So ideally, according to my calculation, for this number, we shouldn't even be entering the while loop, but it is entering nonetheless. So let's try and check. So sorry, let's keep this out and let's see print if x is greater than this or not. And print okay, let's run check the test case 4. Okay, no, that's fine. Return number. So time limit exceeded. X not equals to 0. No, this is correct. Yes, not equals to 0. Hmm. Break. Return number. That's fine. Just check. This is true and true. Case 4. This is true. Both are true. Yes. So this is 1. This is less than. Okay. Okay, got it. Because the output also should be less than 2 to the 31, is it? If reversing x causes the values to go outside of this, then return this. Okay, got it. I read the question wrong. So this is fine. Okay, return number is fine. If z less than 0 and z less than equals to 2 to the power 31 minus 1 or if z less than 0 then number equals to number minus 1 L if Z is less than 2 to the power 31 minus 1. Yes. The number equals to number minus 1. Elif, then only return number. Otherwise, else return 0. Okay, so if Z less than 0, then number equals to number minus 1. And this return number into direct return. If Z is less than 2 to the power 31, then return number, else return 0. Let's run it and check. Okay, case 4 again. Okay. Oh, not Z, number. Number is less than 0. Z is less than 0. And number is this, then only do this. Otherwise, okay, let's submit. Accepted. So, okay, cool. So that was it for today, and I will meet you in the next one. Till then, keep practicing.